Greetings everyone. It's a beautiful sunny day on the Swedish west coast. It's cold, but it's beautiful. I'm outside walking and I just want to kind of do a walk and talk video. Some videos ago I mentioned Monero and why everybody and every household should know about that cryptocurrency. So I'll kind of talk about Monero, about cryptocurrencies and diversification, which is a very important thing these days, and not the kind of diversity they are talking about in the mainstream, but diversification of what you can do in your life. So let's start off. Cash is fungible. Fungible means that 10 euros here and 10 euros there, your $10 bill and his $10 bill have the same value. Nobody has written on that dollar, this dollar or this euro is less valuable because the wrong person had it. You know, somebody bought something illegal or something wrong was done in the name of this dollar. It's fungible money. Now, digital money in the form of bank accounts and such are fungible-ish, sort of fungible. Most often they are, but they freeze and deny people's accounts, and that's just the beginning, as we have seen. There are many journalists and media outlets which can't have a formal bank account. There are many people who, let's say, get stranded in a country because of the border crisis they have imposed, and they can't kind of find a work because to open a bank account you need this and that. To own cryptocurrencies you need only the device you're holding, your phone, computer, whatever. And in this video, of course, I'll be giving no financial advices because I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just a dad making videos and trying to throw out some seeds here and there, because it doesn't take that much to do that. So, bank accounts are not really fungible because it's traceable, and as we see, people get their bank accounts shut down, they can't open bank accounts, or they have denied requests for opening bank accounts. Another thing which isn't fungible, which is fungible-ish, and that's even according to their apostle, it's Bitcoin. Bitcoin is decentralized and blockchain based, but it's not fungible. Meaning, if you have Bitcoin, which has previously been owned by the wrong person or in the wrong activity, it has an earmark, because everything is transparent and every address can be traced. Cash is fungible, but the powers that be can devaluate cash by removing it from a standard and making inflation, which we see is happening now these days. So that's why people are flocking to other investments, and especially crypto. For example, did you know that 1/3 of Nigerians use crypto because their financial system is very unstable? And there are many cryptocurrencies, many projects that kind of deal with this kind of transferring and conversion of money. For example, Bitcoin and Ethereum are very expensive to transfer, but there are many other projects and currencies which make this possible and easier, and you can always convert one to the other, and so on and so on. And more people are getting into this, and money, as I said, can get destroyed. So is there any privacy in cryptocurrencies? Well, there's one project, and that's Monero. That's the best one. There are others out there, but currently that's the best one. It is not traceable, it is fungible. So any amount here, any amount there, it's all the same. You can't earmark them. And the fees are low. It's decentralized. It's protected against centralization in the form of miners. So it's ASIC resistant. ASIC machines, for those of you who don't know, those are like machines that look like the size of an average dog, sort of, and they mine, they process the information on the blockchain, the transactions, and that's what generates the rewards for the miners. And back in the early days, Bitcoin could be mined with the CPU, but that was long ago. Now miners are having, they have placed all these kind of ASIC machine factories in various countries. Monero, on the other hand, is still mined with the CPU, and it's ASIC resistant. So all of the people mining Monero use laptops and computers, you know, desktops, whatever, and it's very easy. And there's a app called Monero Cart. If you would like to kind of get into it, you know, it's not a big profit, but if you have a good machine and it doesn't heat up and make too much of a noise, you will start accumulating Monero and help the network. So the app is called Monero Cart. It's available for Windows and Mac, and even the new Mac M1 processors. And for Apple, it's also been authorized. Wow, it's a beautiful forest here. I'm gonna go up there. So it's easy to start. You just you know, of course, get a wallet somewhere. You can use My Monero, Cake Wallet, Exodus, whatever, and you download the software. You create an account or a username and put in your address, and you're ready to go. And for me, that's really beautiful, because that makes it very easy and accessible for people to get involved in. Now, you can use Monero, you can buy Monero, and you can also mine Monero, and you can use multiple machines for the same username. But let's make a break here and enjoy this beautiful scenery. Well, what's the point in that? Well, education. So you won't get rich by mining Monero, but people said that early in the Bitcoin days that it wasn't worth it. But so for the future, the only kind of reliable cash and like stable cash, which is fungible, which is decentralized, which can't be inflated by the government, is Monero. There is no information on the sender, on the receiver. It's just there. Like it's a funny meme of how you can use Bitcoin privately, and it's there are many pages, and even that isn't really assuring. But for Monero, it's just to use Monero. Now the app I mentioned, and to mine Monero, why is that worth? Well, as I said, it's kind of fun to mine, but most important, it's good for children to learn about this stuff. You know, in Sweden we have basically a cashless society almost, but we have been outside of Sweden, in Bosnia and Croatia, for 2 years out of the first 4 years of my children's lives. And in the rest of the world people still use cash, so they have the concept of cash, because here you can actually meet 19-year-olds who can't even recognize their own coins and like never touch cash, and some children never will. So to learn children about this, it's not something you have to wait for. You can do this at an early age, because money is our everyday thing we use. Like back in the cash days, children got some, you know, pennies here and there in a piggy, but now we don't have that. I forgot this, so I will insert it. This is a playful thing, but also another way of, you know, teaching children and making it fun and playful to learn about. But crypto is the future, and I think Monero is very easy to teach to children. They understand the concept, and when you're a child you don't have to be an expert. I mean, a lot of people don't understand the full technology behind emails, behind banking transfers, behind cryptocurrency transfers, but we do have a good idea about how it works. And just as I remember, I learned how to handle cash as a child, and you know, got some pennies to go away and buy something and keep the change for something else. So children too can learn about cryptocurrencies, especially Monero. And with the use of the mining app, it's quite easier, because then you can kind of educate them on the whole idea in a fun way. You start early, because the last thing we want today, in this day and age, is to have children who will become teenagers and not know anything about this. For people like 40 and up, they have a chance to still kind of get into it, and most of them will get into crypto one way or another, sooner or later, most often by, you know, the mainstream exchanges and stuff. So people will get into it. But the most important thing is to teach the young ones how to handle that, because that will be a very good advantage in life. And I was mentioning diversification or diversity earlier in the video, and by that I mean today, compared to, oh, how long have I not been in focus? Anyway, like back in the days, you had cash, you had a bank, everything you needed was one. Today we have plenty. You have plenty of currencies like fiat, then you have online banking, then you have cryptocurrencies, which are many. And as I always say, like, you can be a fan of whatever cryptocurrency, you can invest in whatever one you like, but anyone who like looks into it realizes that, you know, everybody wish they had the kind of functionality that Monero had, if they could. But that's also why Monero has been attacked so much. It's the most attacked crypto, and it's been delisted from the central exchanges, besides Binance. So anyway, yeah, back in the days everything was one of a kind, sort of. People didn't have to think about many of these things, but now we have the opportunity and kind of the challenge to get into many aspects, many currencies, sort of like knowing many languages. For me, for example, a rhyme, a song in one language just doesn't fit the other one, and a joke, a way of speaking in one language doesn't work in the other. You expand yourself. So diversification for yourself might be too late in a sense. Let's be honest about that. But for the next generation, to know at least 3 languages, to know how to deal with cash, digital, crypto, you know, privacy stuff and encryption and so on. And we can see that this diversification is kind of being forced upon us by the mainstream itself. Take the example of YouTube. I'm on Odyssey and Library, it's the same thing. It's a blockchain based video platform. It's really good. I think it's much smoother than BitChute, and many of the people found on BitChute can be found on Odyssey too, and Library. Hey, so in the modern day, like not the modern but the current day and age, you have to always have like 3-4 things. You can't just have one savings account, and there are no savings accounts. You can't have just one thing, you have to have many. And you know, that's the beauty, that's the thing to get into. And one way of doing this is, as I said, let's start with Monero as a cryptocurrency. You know, you can have it, you can use it, you can mine it, you can see like the whole flow and information of it. There's a good community around it. Then you can of course get into all other cryptocurrencies and projects. If you have friends, family, you can show to them, educate them. This is something I've learned because one thing, like you know, I'm not an expert, I'm not a financial advisor, but when you're alone, or you know, by your computer and really learning a lot, you still feel like you're on the low level because you're still learning. You're like climbing up, you're like taking part of more and more information and insights and whatever. So one kind of can undervalue oneself, but when you open your mouth and start to talk with people, people find it interesting, and people are kind of lost and curious, but they're just lost about this, but they're really curious. Suddenly people start to contact you and ask you how this, how that. Well, that's the beauty of this in the end, because it's the point of all of this is to be your own governor, your own bank, and make one's own research and gather one's own information. But people need a kickstart, and the information you have, what you know, share it. You know, bring it up to people. It can be any topic. You know, with the future being what it is, and with all of this scamdemic going on, one day this will be over too. One way or another, something new will come up to make people afraid and hysterical and panic, you know. But life goes on, and you can make use of it and learn as much as you can and come at the better end of all of this. By information, by aiming right and focusing on what's, you know, the best option. Because when it comes to privacy and cash and such, and money, why should there be a second best? Why should you like go for the third best? Always go with the best, and whatever people fancy or like or invest in. I can't help but say, like, if most people are intelligent who are into crypto in some way or another, you have actually taken a step and informed yourself. So if the thought about privacy, fungibility, and being future-proof hasn't crossed one's mind, I don't think so. So Monero is a good thing. Yeah, definitely look into it. And if somebody from the Monero community or a fellow Monerian comes across this video, say hi. You know, it's nice to know there are people out there who are doing something, promoting something in whatever way they can. From my perspective, it's all about the kind of everyday dad life, you know, not dead life, dad life, father life, and making things accessible and easy for people, like relatives, friends. So yeah, well, it's nice to be outside and walking and talking, so I'm just gonna enjoy the silence of the forest. And wow, 23 minutes. Yeah, thank you for watching. All the best to you. Take care. Ciao.